Breakfast. Croissants and coffee.
And a view.
Which we'll show you more of in a little while. Ready for this though. Shall we go and show them the view then? So we arrived last night and it was just about going dark, and we've got a park up in mind. We're actually going to park up there, but there was someone already there. But this was quite handy. So for an emergency last minute park up, this is what we came to. Well, that's not bad for a first night, is it? Just a few miles outside Stornoway. And I'm going to head back in Stornoway now because we've got some things I want to show you there. And there's also some showers there. So we're going to go drive back there for a shower and start the day proper. And we'll tell you more about Lewis and Harris, about some of the quirks of the place, the island. Because it is in fact one island, although it's called Lewis and Harris, the Isles of Lewis and Harris. It's one island, but two very separate places. Let's go and have a shower. We've come back into Stornoway and just used the Lews and had a wash. And we have found a coffee shop, Keith's found a coffee shop that's open, which is surprising, and we'll tell you why that's surprising in a little while. I just wanted to have a look at this. This is a herring girl statue. The Stornoway herring girl. And it's in recognition of all the herring girls who laboured here during the late 19th and early 20th century. Just over the water is Lews Castle, which we're not going to visit because we've got so much else to visit.
And you can't go in anyway, it's only the grounds you can visit.
Yeah,
it's
a hotel now. I think there's a bit of a visitor centre there, but we've got so much more historical stuff to share with you on this trip.
So it was bought by Lord Leverhulme in 1918, and then in 1923 he passed it on and gave it over to the town, didn't it?
Yeah, the people of Stornoway. So he didn't really have it for that long, did he?
No. It's not an old castle. It's built in a style, isn't it?
Yeah,
rather than being.
Yeah. It's 1800s, I think it was built.
So
it's been.
Then in the Second World War, it was used as a naval hospital, presumably because it's fairly close to the Atlantic convoys and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to get to.
Just over there is where we were before, where we showed you the herring girl and the fisherman. So we're not going to have a wander around Stornoway because
it's shut.
It's shut because it's Sunday, and everywhere's shut on a Sunday in Stornoway, and we'll give you the reason for that in a little while.
It's the whole island's really, isn't it?
It's especially this island.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah. It's a breezy day. It's not too cold though. But we've just been checking the weather and it looks like there might be rain coming in, which is different from what the Met Office app was showing us. That was showing a sunny week. So we'll see.
Here's a map of the whole islands. We're at Stornoway here. We camped just up this road somewhere last night. Come back to Stornoway. We've got this bit to do, and then and that bit to do. So we might, depending on where we get to, do that today, because then we've got to come back to Stornoway and go up to Port Ness, but then all the way down to there, Castle
Barra.
Bay, to get the ferry back to Oban.
So, this is Lewis where we are, and remember I said before, Lewis and Harris. So this is Lewis, and you go all the way down here. And this is Harris, which you can see if you follow the road is all one island, but two very separate styles. And then we've got a couple of ferries to catch before we get all the way down to Barra. And a lot of the other islands are
Linked with causeways, aren't they?
yes. I'm glad you said that because I was going to go.
You were struggling.
One of those roads that goes over the sea, I was going to say. Because it's me age, you know.
It is.
So that's the next couple of weeks. Oh, am I like a weatherman? Well, you know us. We just said we weren't going to wander into the town, but we can't help ourselves, can we? So Keith's looked up slightly because he's getting a bit short, you know. He's just looked up a little bit. This was a townhouse, or it is the townhouse.
It is the townhouse. And it's an early 19th century building. It stands on the site of the old town hall, which housed both the toll booth and the prison.
And now it's the Golden Ocean Chinese restaurant.
Is that upcycling or recycling or repurposing or what?
I don't know, I'm sure there's a word for it. You see down on the ground lots of pointers to the herring fishing history. Another statue up there we'll wander around to after.
Where we were, we parked up, there's a sundial as well.
Was there?
Yeah,
Oh, I missed
and
that.
I think you stand in it to create the shadow.
Right. So this was the town hall, which reopened in 1929, and it's originally the site of stables to Cairn House,
To the
which was
west.
to the west. It's a nice old building.
It is.
Now houses Stornoway Historical Society.
And there is a big tower in the middle of it. It's a clock tower.
Over there is where we landed last night.
You can just see the clock tower glimpsing.
Oh, that's very poetic. The clock tower glimpsed in the shining sun.
You know what I meant.
I'll let you complete it. No, it's not a limerick.
So there's the clock tower. You can see it rising above the roofs.
Shining in the sun.
Make the most of it. It's always shine.
Don't know who Donald John is.
No.
Well, it's shame on him,
Yeah.
apparently. Now on this trip, we're hoping that we should see lots of seals, maybe dolphins, whales, puffins, otters, if we're lucky. There's a couple of shiny seals. You're not going to say hello, Nab? Because you can't say hello to the real ones. You know how I like to tell you a story? We've got a story about a seal. Go on.
When we were in doing the 500, is that the one you mean?
No, that's not one I meant.
I don't know.
That's another one. The one we're on Anglesey.
Oh. You know, my hobby is to collect skulls. I think I might have told you this before.
I don't think you've told them the seal one.
But I took the dogs for a walk when we were parked up on Anglesey. And along the beach, there was a washed up seal, dead. And so I went back to Darryl, and he wouldn't let me use the the bread knife that we had in the van, so we had to go and buy a fish knife. And there I was, it was still there when I got back, and then I was hacking the head off. Sorry, cutting the head off. And
Hacking.
a lady walked past, looked at me and asked me what I was doing, and I explained. I said, I am a teacher. She said, oh, that's all right then. And just walked off and left me to it.
But I will let you into a secret. That seal was rotting, and it did stink.
It rotted.
And it stunk the campervan out all the time we were away. In fact, we had to leave it. I had to make friends with the campsite owner and say, can we just leave something here for a few days? So these sculptures have got QR codes on them, but we're not going to go into scanning them at the moment. But over here is something we wanted to show you. A memorial. And there is a little bit more that we can show later to do with the same disaster. Now, just excuse us for a minute. We'll be back. We wanted to get it right, so I just Googled how to pronounce it. It is Iolaire. So on the 1st of January 1919, His Majesty's yacht Iolaire foundered here. The cairn contains 201 stones collected by young people from Lewis, Harris, Berneray, Scottish mainland and England. Each stone comes from the home village, town or city of a victim and are arranged as follows. North face, presume 51 stones?
Yeah.
South face, 33. I don't know. East face, I don't know.
Yeah.
But 201 people were killed.
And these are the different faces of this monument.
But I can't read it because it's not in English. That's why I was struggling. But it goes into a little bit more detail about people lost. So the Royal Navy Reserve, 173 were lost. The Royal Navy, 6 were lost. The Royal Marine Light Infantry, 1 was lost. And the Mercantile Marine, 21 were lost. Back at the Town Hall building, on this site stood the house in which was born in 1754 Colonel Colin Mackenzie. He became the first Surveyor General of India. He had a long and richly distinguished career as soldier and surveyor in the service of the East India Company. And in the cultural field, his collections of Indian antiquities, inscriptions and manuscripts became famous. He died near Calcutta in 1821, greatly esteemed by his contemporaries alike for his character and his achievements. And as we always do when we're away, we did have a look at an estate agents, didn't we?
We did.
Prices aren't bad.
They're not. We just need either a bit of money to do things up or...
Yeah. One which needed some renovation work but didn't look too bad. 3-bedroomed
Yeah.
bungalow, or a croft, I suppose,
Croft.
as they call them around here. £50,000.
It'd be nice to have £50,000 and a bit of money in the bank to
Yeah,
do
just
it
to
up.
do it up, it would.
But what would you do?
Yeah, well, yeah. At least, I mean, it's very nice, but at least in the lakes, you aren't far from anything, are you?
No, that's true.
You are a bit far out here. We're now heading to Tesco for some bread rolls. And believe it or not, we've got a story to tell you about Tesco. A fascinating fact, in fact. We're back here. Well, this is something different I've never seen before.
Bike hire. And there's, believe it or not, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 here. And there's instructions on this side how to unfold them.
That's a really good idea, isn't it? That's better than the things we've got like in Nottingham where they're just dumped wherever.
Yeah, and it's quite compact.
It is. Clever idea, like that. It's all very quiet on a Sunday. Well, don't say we don't show you the sights on our trips. Tesco. Okay, before we get to the Tesco bit, everywhere on this island, or virtually everywhere, is closed on a Sunday. The widespread closures on Sundays in the Isle of Lewis stem from a deeply rooted tradition of Sabbath observance, reflecting the island's strong Presbyterian heritage. For generations, Sundays have been regarded as a day of rest and worship, leading to the closure of most shops, businesses and public services. The practice is closely tied to the island's religious makeup, where denominations... This practice is closely tied to the island's religious makeup, where denominations like the Free Church of Scotland and the Reformed Presbyterian Church have a significant presence. Even residents who are not regular church-goers often value the tranquility and community focus that a quiet Sunday brings. Which is quite nice, isn't it? It feels nice. It feels relaxed.
It does feel like an
old-fashioned Sunday.
We can see a Tesco car park with 4 cars in it.
So again, we've just gone into Tesco to get some bread rolls, and it doesn't open till 12. We thought it'd be 10.
Yeah.
So anyway, historically, the observance extended beyond retail, with limited public transportation and other services on Sunday. However, in recent years, there's been shifts. For instance, Tesco,
which is why we're here,
which has remained closed on Sunday since its opening in 2008, began Sunday operations in November 2024, so not that long ago, really. This decision followed consultations and was met with both support and opposition within the community. It sparked significant debate, with some residents appreciating the added convenience of jobs, while others viewed it as a departure from cherished traditions. There were petitions and protests held here against the opening on Sundays.
It's very quiet at the moment, apart from the generators. And we can always join a pipe band, if we wish, over there, Lewis Pipe Band. I'm assuming it's the bagpipes and not the copper pipes of a plumber's trade.
You never know. What would you rather play with?
DIY dog wash bay.
Fancy it, Bay? You molting like you are? And that's not our car. You're in the van, aren't you? That was Stornoway, the capital of the Hebrides. The Outer Hebrides. Doesn't really get busy unless the ferries are coming in, I suppose, or departing. And Keith's just made a good point about the Tesco opening time, probably because it's been a trade-off that they can open at that time when everyone's been to church.
Yeah, services are usually finished by then, aren't they?
Yeah. Looking up, representations of Stornoway and fishing boats, pleasure craft, Calmac ferries, and Lews Castle. It's quite effective 3D, isn't it?
It is.
And if you look over there, there's some dark cloud coming. Talking estate agents, which we were before. There's one there, this top corner, offers over 180,000. Quite nice. Not as cheap as the one we saw before. Not that's nice at 180. Well, quite like that one. 11 Scarp on the Isle of Scarp. Offers in the region of 195,000. Traditional 3-bedroom bungalow. That looks quite nice, and it's out on its own. That'll do us. Because we like to be alone. Does this take anyone back? It's been remastered. I've got the album on vinyl.
I've seen Slade.
I know you have. I've not seen the film. I've seen clips of it,
yeah,
and bits of it, but I've never actually sat down. Slade in Flame, 50th anniversary.
Good grief.
And apparently it's one of the best films about rock music that's been made. This is what we want to show you, which we're not going to show you at the moment, but just out here are 79 white posts which represent the survivors and 201 markers cut from trees in Stornoway's castle grounds, and each one represents one who was lost on the Iolaire. So here's the
construction,
and then that's actual Iolaire, and that's what it looks like when the water reveals it at low tide and it lights up. At 1:55 a.m. on the 1st of January 1919, HMY Iolaire, crowded with naval reservists returning home after the horror of the Great War, ran aground on rocks near the village of Holm, changing the course of history on the Isle of Lewis. And the Centenary installation commemorates the loss of the Iolaire, as I said, with 280 posts, one for each person aboard, mapped out in the exact shape and size of the ship. The Iolaire sailed, disappears and emerges with each tide and is lit at night, guiding the ship and the men of the Iolaire home at last. So she was actually 189 foot by 27 foot. And there's a little saying here, both in Gaelic and in English. And in English that says, "Last night ripped the Iolaire, her crew winged away from Harris to Ness. We lament her fair men." It's a shame we couldn't show it, but we're not here at the right time, obviously. Well, it's quite a nice memorial, that, isn't it? Especially, that must be quite amazing to see.
Mm.
And we need to talk about last night in bed. What did you think?